A sentence was finally handed down in the case of Bradley Manning. This morning, Judge Denise Lind handed down the sentence of 35 years in prison. Now, these, of course, are on charges of espionage, theft, and computer fraud for the information that he shared with Wikileaks. Now, Manning, positive note would be Manning could be eligible for parole in about 8 years when he's 33. Now, of course, my stance on the whole Manning case is that Manning shouldn't have served any time. He should be let go. Free Bradley Manning. I mean, he did the American people an absolute service by telling us what our government is actually doing in our name. It's one of the most important services somebody can do for their country, is to tell the people what they're doing, what the government is doing. And I'm not the only one who feels that way. Amnesty International put out a statement earlier today to President Obama saying, quote, Bradley Manning acted on the belief that he could spark a meaningful public debate on the costs of war, and specifically on the conduct of the U.S. military in Iraq and Afghanistan. The U.S. government should turn its attention to investigating and delivering justice for the serious human rights abuses committed by its officials in the name of countering terror. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bradley Manning gets 35 years in prison, and we're on an international manhunt for Edward Snowden. Yet the people who actually committed these crimes have served no time. No time at all. And not only this, but I can provide an example of someone who had actually aided the enemy, who had actually given more information to the Soviets, to the Russian KGB, and had got less time than Bradley Manning. And my example is a man named Clayton Lonetree. Now, Clayton Lonetree had given the KGB, which is which was the Soviet intelligence agency back during the Cold War, he had given them CIA agents' names. Not only that, but he had given the Russians floor plans to the embassies in Moscow. So, of course, he had to have gotten more time than Bradley Manning, right? Because Bradley Manning didn't give the enemy. He gave the American people information. Unless, of course, we are now considered the enemy. But no, he had received a sentence of 15 years. And he only served 9 of those. And that's just one of 6 other examples. Now, of course, I think the entire trial of Bradley Manning was kind of a farce to begin with, a show trial. And why I say that, well, you have to look at the evidence that they didn't allow. Okay, they would not, he wasn't allowed to say that he was a whistleblower. And that, not only that, but the information that Bradley Manning had released did not harm the United States, but it did embarrass the government. It did. And of course, because of that, Bradley Manning was forced to apologize. Now, I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for doing what he had to do to get a lesser sentence. And I'm going to read a part of that apology. He said, quote, I am sorry that my actions hurt people. Besides the fact that they couldn't prove that the information that he released hurt anyone. But I continue. I'm sorry that they hurt the United States. Once again, there's absolutely no proof of that. None whatsoever. And I'm sorry for the unintended consequences of my actions. When I made these decisions, I believed I was going to help people, not hurt people. The last few years have been a learning experience. A learning experience on how the government can torture you, strip you naked every night, and keep you in solitary confinement for actually trying to reveal the secrets that they don't want the people to know. That's a hell of a lesson to learn. A hell of a lesson to learn. And of course, throughout the entire trial, The Defense Department and the state were unable to tie his releases to the deaths of any U.S. informants. So there was absolutely no proof that what he released harmed America, but it embarrassed the administration. It embarrassed the state. And so they had to crack down. Did you know the prosecution? The government was asking that he be sentenced for no less than 60 years. But of course he apologized to the state. I'm so sorry that I hurt people. I'm so sorry. And once again, I don't fault him for doing what he had to do. He could be out within a decade. He could be out sooner. I'll get to that in a minute. But nonetheless, it was kind of a show saying that even though there was no proof that what he did harmed the United States, he had to apologize for it. He had to apologize for the wrongdoing that he did to the state. And I just find that absolutely abhorrent. However, 3 hours after the verdict was announced, Manning's attorney, David Coombs, stated that the appeals process will begin soon. He's going to try to appeal to get his sentence commuted. He said, quote, "I will file a request that the president pardon Bradley Manning, or at the very least commute his sentence to time served." Now, do I think that's actually going to happen? Probably not. Seeing that the Obama administration's stance on whistleblowers and leakers, what we're doing to Edward Snowden, charging him with felonies, I believe 3 felonies, for releasing information, I don't think that the president's going to go for this. But I love the attitude of Bradley Manning, because he had stated earlier that if the president does not commute his sentence, that I will serve my time, knowing that sometimes you have to pay a heavy price for living in a free society. And that right there shows that Bradley Manning is a true American hero. And it's not too late, President Obama. You can let him go. You can let him appeal, and you can commute his sentence. You can pardon him. I don't know if he'll do it, but I certainly hope so. Free Bradley Manning. Free him now.